What was the lesson for you then in terms of trying those poses again?
Never force yourself to do any single posture,
Yeah.
because
Hello and welcome to How We Are Healing, the podcast where real people share vulnerable stories and life learned lessons. I'm Tristan, friendly yoga teacher, and your host through the darkness towards healing, one conversation at a time. And now, on to the episode. Hey, you got any more of that healing? Hello and welcome to the podcast. I am your host Tristan, and we are here to talk about how we are healing. So with me is Yassine. Welcome, Yassine, and thank you for being here.
thank you, Tristan. I'm happy to be here today.
Yes, I'm excited for our conversation. So tell us a little bit about yourself in the context of health and healing, like kind of what brought you to your healing journey.
Well, it goes back to 2011, after the revolution in Egypt, where my one of the close people to the family actually died in it, and we're all, in a sense, in such a bad general mood, and like there was like lots of confusion, lots of anxiety and stress all over, and I just literally googled while sitting in my bed simple de-stressing techniques, and just by doing this, candle meditation came out, and I just went through it, and over the time I had this feeling that it connects me somehow in a different way from the inside, and I actually never how to say it um, understood what that is. And after like 3 years, when I coincidentally went into my first yoga class, it was the same exact feeling I had after the class and inside of the Shavasana phase. I was like, I miss that feeling so much.
Right, that like going inside. Okay. And so so
Yeah,
so you first started with candle gazing, is that right?
yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. And how many like minutes were you practicing initially? Because most people start off at it's like 30 seconds, a minute, something like that.
Uh, I would say I started with like 30 seconds,
Yeah.
but like in rounds. So
Hmm.
whenever my eyes starts crying, I close my eyes for a moment, visualize the candle in the third eye, then reopen my eyes, go do it for like three, maybe rounds, 4 rounds. But over the time, like the more you do it, the more you master it in a sense. So after a while, I guess I reached like a point where I can gaze in it in a couple minutes, up to 5 minutes, I guess.
Wow. That's
I
amazing.
never actually like measured it honestly. Like I
Okay.
dropped that practice long, long ago, but that's how I actually like started, I would say.
Okay. I find it super interesting that you didn't measure it because I feel like there are really those two kinds of people, right? There are the people who are like, no, like, what's the prescription? What's the amount of time? And then there are the people who are
That's
like,
me
just feel it,
outside of the
right?
healing word.
What's that?
That's me outside of the healing word. Like at the office, I'll be like, "Where's the prescription? Where's the SLAs?" But like when it comes to healing and everything else, I just care more about my feelings. I believe like maybe because my sun is in Capricorn and my moon is actually a Libra. So I have like both with the best of both worlds, I would say. So my Capricorn side gets out of the office, but my Libra side manifests more when I'm actually into the healing world.
Right. Oh, it's good to have that balance then. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Finding that place in between. Very cool.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so it doesn't sound like, at least initially, you had a mentor or a guru. It sounds like you listened to your own internal guru. But I wanted to ask about what do you, how, did that transition? Did you find yourself finding mentors, finding gurus? Do you have a guru?
Yes. Yes, exactly. Initially, I started on my own. I didn't even know that it was named meditation back in the days.
Right.
Like, it's just a de-stressing technique. If even you ask me if I meditate or not, I would say no.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
right.
It's just like the ignorance phase, I would say. And then over the time, when I got more attached into yoga, I had like my yoga mentor. And then after it with a year, I actually came across the heartfulness meditation techniques,
Right.
and I started practicing them. It's a type of Raja Yoga where you listen more to your heart by just remaining passive, closing your eyes, connecting with yourself. And there is a specific way to like attract the energy for it. So it's not only passive, you're actually trying to attract an energy that actually works as a catalyst within your system.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually met my guru afterwards. So after I started yoga with like 2 years, no, sorry, actually 1 year,
Mm-hmm.
I had my first flight to India, and there I met my guru for my first time physically, I would say.
Okay. Do you want to share more about who your guru is, or you don't have to, of course?
Yeah, of course. My Guruji is Kamlesh D. Patel, known as Daji.
Gee.
And he's initially started as a pharmacist. He's completely into meditation and, and all the Vedic traditions, the Hindu traditions, but he's always like very knowledgeable about other traditions as well.
Mm-hmm.
And religions. And he has been balancing both worlds, the materialistic life and the spiritual life. And after quite a good amount of years of practicing the same tradition that I follow now, he was named the successor of the mission or the tradition. Like all the gurus in that tradition actually used to have like a double life, like the materialistic and spiritual. They did not dump just the materialistic, because at the end of the day, you need money to feed your kids, you need money to build ashrams, you need money to feed the people when they come to visit you in the ashrams, and you also need money for your own safety and health,
Right.
So, which quite resonated with me, honestly, because just dumping my life and just go into like being, like a priest or just Abraham Sharia, just laying down on the streets, doesn't make any sense. Because at the end of the day, we all actually live in the 21st century, so why do that,
Right. And I think no matter how spiritual we get as a race, as humans, there's always going to be
You need more money if you want to be more spiritual, I guess.
there's always going to be
To
that
do more
group.
stuff.
Yeah, there's always going to be that group that like
Yeah.
that does care about money, and you need to reach them too. It's like that just because you like money and maybe like the more materialistic things doesn't mean you're not spiritual. It's just that one is kind of flowing this way or that way, and it's about balance, right? Or
You
bringing it
always find the
closer.
right balance, I guess. Like it
Yeah.
keeps fluctuating. Like 1 year, I hated money so much. I remember that day, that year, because like it's just only, it's just there. You don't need much. But like I guess after I lived on myself and I had to like pay my own bills, I realized like I actually need much more money than I'm actually making.
Mm-hmm.
And this does not make me like any less of spiritual on a personal level, honestly, because at the end of the day, I just need more money to live, more money to travel, more money to discover myself, more money maybe to have the luxury to do therapy, to do healing, to attend more yoga classes or meditation gatherings, and all that. Well, simply, actually, I need money to put in the gas for the car to actually go to the yoga classes, simply. So, yeah, and even if you want to study something, you actually need to exchange it in a monetary terms. So, again, I believe money is important, and like dumping the materialistic life is quite aggressive. Maybe it suited them back in the days when they used to do it after they have like grandsons and like they stopped working, they retire. That was where actually the spiritual life started, or like their yatra initiated.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, like in our time, like I don't think this is even like doable.
Yeah, I mean, the economy is going to do what it does, and it's not set up to allow people to retire all the time. It depends. It depends on how much money you can acquire early and keep it, right? So,
Yeah, true.
yeah. No, and it's interesting to me because what I'm kind of pulling out from that is that you went through a year of hating money and you didn't have it, right? And so when that changed in your mind of, okay,
Yeah,
I don't want to hate money, I need to love it, that's when things started changing for you, right? In terms of money.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's all related like that. Okay, cool. What does a typical day look like for you wellness wise? And maybe it's not a typical day, but or maybe you could say ideal day or however you want to interpret that question.
Okay, definitely walking before dawn, because I usually do that at like 5 a.m. ish.
Mhm.
And just sit, meditate for a while, do my own morning practice. Uh, and then maybe do my physical practice,
Mhm.
or just hit the gym or go for a run or a swim. It doesn't have always to be yoga, honestly. Like, I love to change it just for the sake of changing something in the routine, less boredom, less structured days, and have a nice breakfast that can be chickpea pancakes, waffles. It can also be baked salad. It can be falafel. It depends on how my body feels. Like if I want a crunchy thing or a soft thing or a sweetie thing. It keeps changing, honestly. Like I cannot describe it how when you are actually in tune with yourself, you feel what your guts needs today.
Mhm.
Like cold or hot stuff, like the crunch or no crunch, more soft food today. More roots, you need to ground, like you have to adjust.
Mhm.
I would say listening to kirtan, reading in my books, maybe going for a walk, maybe doing my own self-treatment using Reiki method. Maybe just go for a tan, connect with my friends. Definitely. I can be watching a documentary or a movie as well.
Mhm.
That sounds like a nice day. I can also be smoking my hookah
Okay.
as well because I'm a human being and I need to have all sides. We also need to enjoy and have fun.
Everything in moderation, including moderation.
Exactly. Exactly. So only on weekends.
Exactly. And it's like I think there's so much talk about light and positivity in the yoga world, and it's like, yes, but those things
Yeah.
only exist because there is dark, right? So it's like you can't have one without the other.
Exactly. Like for evil to exist, there should be good humans, and for good to exist, there should be bad humans.
Mhm.
Or bad things. It doesn't have to be humans in particular. And for happiness also to exist, there need to be some sorrow and sadness.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's the aspect of duality of life. So as long we are willing to experience both emotions, we should experience also both lives. If someone is comfortable having a drink or getting inked or pierced or smoking or like doing whatever the stuff they want to actually do, they should just go and do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If someone just simply wants to have a fizzy drink or a Pepsi, it's fine. If it feels good within them, then go ahead. Good for you. Be happy.
Right. It's
I
like
guess we just need to care less about what people say and work more with what we intuitively feels. You know.
oh yeah. No, I was gonna say that there's like a big movement of like 80-20, which normally people interpret as the Pareto principle, but I'm using it in the context of 80% strict, healthy, whatever, but then
Yeah.
20%, yeah, one day a week, whatever, like let yourself fly,
Yeah.
whatever you
I would
need.
actually take the 20% every day. Like every day it has to be something. Otherwise, you will be like a nun, like a living monk.
Yeah, and maybe that appeals to some people, but not everyone. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Not every path has to be walked by all people. That's why we're all different.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. Yeah, like that's kind of a consistent thing I'm seeing when I question people on this path of healing around what they do daily, and it's like there's no such thing. There's no such thing as this is the prescription. It's like always about being in tune with what you need and always trying to find that balance, trying to strike a balance.
Yes, exactly. Because at the end of the day, we're just trying to moderate our lives, or like molded it in an actual way that fits our goals.
Right. Yeah. Do you have like wellness routines that you do not on a consistent basis like daily, but that you do less often? So something you do weekly, something you do monthly, something you do quarterly or annually. Like what keeps you sane that you plan out for the year kind of thing?
Uh, Weekly, I would say I keep my Nauli practices on weekly basis. Monthly would be my Duality and Sutranity. Um, every 3 months, I need like to travel for even a day. It can be also like going to my hometown and coming back, like going from Cairo to. I'm now based in Cairo, so it can be like going from Cairo to Alexandria for just for one day. I don't know. I'm trying to think now. I guess I need to like work more on this, maybe. But like, but yeah, like at least like once a week I do my normal practice like in a very like strict way. Like it's gonna be like 2 hours straight. Because throughout the week I don't have the luxury of time between teaching yoga, working, having corporate life. You know, like living alone is quite a big part of it as well. Doing the laundry, cooking, because when you're living the best life or like I would say your rich life, as they market to it as. I would say like cooking to yourself, meal prepping, or just like doing fresh food every day and washing the dishes and all that, and saging the home and like having your daily salt bath and all that. It's like quite a hustle. Right. So doing it on a trying to plan stuff is quite hard, honestly. For me, at least, I hate planning. I'm more of a spontaneous dude. Yeah, but definitely there is like 1 week at least a year that I would just, or a couple weeks that are just, I don't work, I don't teach, I don't do anything. I just do everything I want to do, like just swim, tan, read books, meditate, do yoga, run, do some cardio, burn some calories, or break a sweat, and that's it.
Yeah, stay active. I want to talk more about the Shatkarmas that you were mentioning initially. You said you do Jalaneti, Sutraneti. What other Shatkarmas do you do?
Just these trees only. And Nauli.
Nauli. Okay, Nauli. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Just for the sake of not losing it,
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they get lost like this.
Yes, especially Nauli, I find. I actually just restarted my Sutra Neti practice. I'm lucky enough that a friend brought cotton covered in beeswax from India. So she brought that over because that stuff is impossible to find. It's like you have to make it yourself kind of deal here in Mexico, where I'm calling from. So
here's the same, but I use a rubber one that I brought from India, and I just disinfect it every time with hot water and salt.
Easy, yeah.
And I keep them in Ziploc bags. And yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm looking for the rubber ones here. It's not available online, so I would either have to like import it from the US, or it's a bit harder to find here. Yeah, I know. Whereas in India, it's literally available at every pharmacy. Every pharmacy has Sutra Neti, the rubber form. Talk to me more about your yoga that you teach. How often do you teach? What style or styles?
I usually teach, let me count them. I usually teach something between 5 to 7 classes a week, which is honestly, now like I'm rethinking it these days, it's quite a lot while having a corporate job, I would say. I always mix styles. The main style that I'm currently teaching is something that is called Vikasa Yoga, or the Vikasa method. It's based on Costa Miccio's philosophy or like method that he found over the years between mixing different styles of yoga. And Vikasa means actually to evolve, so it's like the evolution of your own practice. So no matter what's your background, you just need to mix it to come up with your own thing at the end of the day. And there is like definitely big guidelines or like bold lines for you to like that you have like to have in your class. And there is their own music because his background is actually a DJ, so he had to like have his own kick, I would say, or a twist with the music. But at the end of the day, I also mix my Ashtanga background. I also mix my dancing background. I also mix my heartfulness yoga, my background, which is quite soothing, very traditional, very grounding, more of like traditional hatha yoga kind of style, more intuitive. So I always try to like mix between all of them, because at the end of the day, for me, typical asana practice is mixed with meditation, shavasana, and breathing. Is at the end of the day a movement class. So I don't care about the name of the posture. I don't care about the transitions, how weird they are. It just has to like be in sync with my body, and everyone is feeling comfortable, like at least trying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Over the years, I feel like also I've been like less rigid, because it's something that I was lacking. Same as the money. When I was younger, like I would be like very rigid about the practice. Remember, even when we met in Mysore,
Right.
I was like very like Ashtanga focused, very like dedicated. Now, if I go into an Ashtanga shala and I just do my practice, and I don't feel like doing, for example, Marishasana C today, I just won't do it. You know, like back in the years, I was like, I have to do it. I have to close the energy. Blah blah blah. This is all like we try to emphasize on ourselves, like you have to do this because your body is usually doing it, but maybe your body doesn't feel like doing it now. Like I was also like recently I discovered that I haven't done like scorpios or pincha or asana for at least a good 6 months, for no reason. And I did it a few days back just to like, you know, like get it back, or like to know just how it feels now. And it just something did not resonate, you know, with my body anymore doing them. Or like doing it maybe at that moment. Maybe if I do it today or tomorrow, it's gonna be or feel better. But like something was wrong. So I always say like I always have to like listen myself. And I always try also to like read the room and the energies of the participants. So once everything is settled, I start to like, you know, go on with the practice.
Okay. So like, well, what was the lesson for you then in terms of trying those poses again?
Never force yourself to do any single posture, you know?
Yeah.
Because my body stopped practicing them in my own practice, because I never like do like a guided ones or something like that. I usually like follow my own. And I just stopped doing them because my body doesn't feel like doing them. So maybe doesn't want to invert, doesn't want to go into an extreme back bend at the moment. Maybe my muscles from the gym is not as flexible as they used to be, and it's okay to have it like this for a while. Maybe I should have like be like more warmed up. Maybe I should work more on my heart openers. You never know, you know. There's like it's a matrix. There is lots of stuff in the equation that you need to always take care of. And maybe emotionally I wasn't ready, so that would maybe have triggered something, you know?
Right.
So you never know. There is always something in the equation that does not feel right, so you just follow your intuition and just leave it as is, I guess. Which is always like the message I keep receiving, and I always sometimes push this message away, but I try to listen more. I always try to listen more. I feel that's the only consistent thing I've been trying to do over the past years.
Not force.
Yeah. Less force, more feel.
Yeah.
My friend always say, don't suppress, just express.
Ooh. Okay, I like that a lot. What are some wellness trends that you're noticing over there in Cairo, either positive ones or negative ones?
Positive ones, I guess people are like now more mindful and like more open to the idea of like therapy. We even have like online options now with applications on your phone. You just connect with a therapist and just go for it. You know what I mean? And meditation as well. When I started back in the days, people used to like give me the looks, I would say. Like they didn't even understand what yoga is, you know? It was not even a trend back in the days when I started. It was like 2016, early 2016. So nobody even here, I guess it was not that booming as now. I guess on Instagram did like a great job making people like more aware. But there is also the orthodox people, or like there is like, oh, you do yoga, but you drink coffee. Oh my God, how bad is that? You know. But like at the end of the day, like I don't have to drink matcha, for example, or like just herbal teas. Like I can just drink whatever I want. Or anyone actually, I don't drink coffee honestly, but like everyone can just drink whatever they want, you know? So I feel also it has created this trend of creating a specific frame or a stereotype for yoga or holistic people, that you cannot be that and you should be like this. But at the end of the day, we're all humans. Each person's own composition is different.
Mm-hmm.
And each person's own traumas, inner child, everything is like totally different from one another. So at the end of the day, I feel like the trend of creating like a lovely, very polished lifestyle should not be there on the social media. Like I remember a few days back, I had a video on my close friends' filtered list with me stress eating. I was just stressed with a pack of crackers in the car past my bedtime, and I just felt like I just want to be real to my people. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not always about like running or burning that much of calories or doing fantastic yoga postures on the beach or at the studio, you know. But also we need like to, I guess, to restore like staying truthful, because on the social media, I feel like people need to be share more of their vulnerable side and less about their polished side, in a sense.
Oh, it's all polish and it's all like just so fake. It's like that perfect framing of the video that shows the beautiful part of the background, and then you zoom out and you see, you know, exposed power lines and the garbage and something's on fire and there's
people
violence.
Talking, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like it's never as it is in the pictures. Like I actually remember, like I took one of the pictures in the restaurant. We last had our dinner there before I departed from Mysore.
Yeah.
And you departed back to the ashram that you were staying in. And I actually do remember, like you were closing your eyes and there was like a painting behind you, and you looked like so zen. But I remember that day, like it was literally crowded at the restaurant. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
yeah,
at the end
yeah.
of the day, it's just the idea of like we want to express, or like it's like an artist, like you know when the artists are painting actually over canvas, they just want to show the part that they want to show in their own interpretation. That's what we're actually doing with our social media. But the thing is, it's fine to do this, but the problem is when people start to look at this as your actual day-to-day lifestyle. Because some days, like, for example, I get this comment a lot from students or friends or family, like, how is the yoga doing? And nobody asks about the office. And then I say, yeah, but sometimes I'm overly tired. I feel like I'm burned out from doing 2 jobs. And they're like, what? You don't do 2 jobs. You just work out and do yoga. That's it. That's how life is centered about. And I was like, yeah, but I wear a suit at least 10 hours a day, you know?
Right.
Just at least 10 hours a day. Nobody sees that. Sometimes I actually do try to like post pictures of me, maybe in the elevator or like with friends at the office. Not that often, honestly. But like at the end of the day, like I do have an actual 9 to 5 job. And it's also time consuming, you know?
Right. And it's not yoga.
So,
it's far
and
from
it's not
it.
yoga.
Yeah.
It's totally like suit on, you know?
Oh, yeah. And so when you were talking about just the perfection that shows up on social media, I think what people forget is that, like, travel, for example, it's more like a video than it is a photo. So it's really easy to take a nice photo, but like now imagine the video of you sitting on the plane for 20 hours and then, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And the bus ride and
Yeah.
it's people don't see the journey, they just see that end result. And it's like, no, you know, to get to a place of zen, to get to that beautiful photo of us in the restaurant, right, with the beautiful swirling yogic background, it's like, no, we had to cross the street in Mysore, which was a dirt road and no one stops and the cars are honking at every intersection because that's India. And it's like, yeah.
Exactly.
You have to wait.
Exactly.
It's like a lotus. In order for the lotus to bloom, it has to literally grow up in crap, right? And it
Exactly.
blooms in the junk, in the garbage. So
Exactly.
yeah. Okay. Cool. Do you feel like right now where you're at there is a wellness trend that is totally overrated? Something that is super popular in the wellness industry that like just doesn't make sense to you? You're seeing people do things that you don't understand.
Yeah, people are like out shaming sugar a lot. It's okay if you have it with moderations, I believe. Like I read a research paper a few days back. It was like, I guess it was like you can take up to like 30 grams a day or something like that. As long you don't do it every day and you don't do it excessively or like more than that every day. Because it's like, it's okay, again, it's all about moderation, but like people are like shaming sugar and then they start having like guilt towards it, and then they start like kind of like body shaming themselves. And like it's all in your head, because if you ate something and you think about it like the next day, you're gonna be feeling bad about it. Then you're feeling bad not only about the meal that you had or like the dessert or whatever the stuff you had with sugar, but it's also about your body. And then your body is gonna, this thought is gonna swirl and get it big and more complex. And then at the end of the day, you'll end up with total new programming to your mindset that's going to literally destroy your mindset and your life. In a sense, that I feel like people are more focused nowadays, or maybe it's also capitalism, because companies keep pushing that sugar is not good. You should use more stevia, more, I don't know, like this agave syrup, and you should use like more honey sweetened dessert and stuff like that. And like this stuff, even if it's not costly, it's still try to like shame the sugar that is still on the road, still on all shelves of the stores, and still at your own home, you'll always find sugar in something, even if it's just hidden in the crackers that I had yesterday. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just simply, I guess people need to like downsize it a bit, because it's becoming like more and more how to say, stressing to watch.
Right.
All the advertisement, everything, like now everything has like no sugar. But then when you read the actual ingredients, they actually do include sugar. Maybe not straight sugar, but it's like glucose or like sucralose, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they sneak it in. No, I love this. I think you're spot on that there's a lot of guilt that we are putting on ourselves because of things, and that does literally actually change what happens in the body when you have those negative emotions, versus if you do the sugar, like you said, in moderation. Or, a big thing I'm reading about is it's just the timing of it. So don't have sugar on an empty stomach. Eat a big healthy meal and then have a dessert, but have it right away, so that it's not, the sugar isn't sitting in your system alone. It's
I
kind
always
of
do
right.
that. Yeah. Lower insulin spike.
Exactly. Lower the insulin spike. So it's like you can have it. It's just the when you have it is so much more important. Yeah, it's the trick. It's so much more important than just having it in general. And then because you're coupling it with something healthy, get rid of the guilt. Just like you don't need it. You don't need it.
Yeah. And also having it after a meal makes you like less overdo it, because you're already full,
That's true. Exactly. Yeah, we have to trick ourselves. That's what I'm finding. It's like we have to like figure out what are the tricks, because you touched upon it with like capitalism and marketing. It's like those things are designed to make you feel like consume more and make you feel like you need it or whatever, right? They literally create emotion in you and they create desire, and it's our job as smart consumers to go, wait, do I really want this, or am I told that I want it and am I just believing it blindly, versus what do I actually want, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
When you find yourself getting dysregulated these days, do you have a go-to technique that kind of brings you back to earth, like grounds you?
But yeah, I go barefoot in the complex where I live. I go barefoot on the in the garden for a bit.
Okay.
I also exchange some energy with the trees, and I would have potatoes, more potatoes and carrots, more roots. It's the Ayurvedic cheat. And I'll drink more rose and hibiscus tea, I would say.
Cool.
Especially before bed, or like lavender and chamomile as well. It calms better, I would say.
I want to hear more about the exchanging energy with trees, because I feel like that might be a new trend soon. It's like there's so much to it, and there's that whole joke about like, oh, hippie, tree hugger, but it's like there's something to it.
Yeah.
Right? There's something to it.
Yeah, exactly. It's very interesting, honestly. Like, someone recommended it a few years back, and I found it very like interesting. At the beginning, I actually did not like go with it, but then after a while, I read it in one of my guru's book, and first you need to ask the tree for permission, and then you sit backwards, because at the end of the day, you're willing to like exchange energies together. So you need to ask always for a consent, you know.
Right.
So you just sit with the back touching the tree, and then you ask for permission, and then you pray that you're both exchanging energies, and then you close your eyes, sit with it for a while, and when you feel good, you have to be grateful for the tree, be grateful to Mother Earth, because again, all the energy that is coming, it's coming from the earth into the tree to you, taking all your shit, flushing it out, sending it to the tree, all the way back to Mother Earth, because Mother Earth is literally a mother that takes wherever you give to it. Right. And at the end of the day, it should be the only one that accepts you all the time, no matter how bad the stuff that you're letting go of is. And and then you just pray that now your energies are getting back to its right place, and this flow is stopping. And once you feel it stop, you displace your back from the tree and be grateful and walk away. Maybe have a journal if you want to write something that you felt, you sensed. You know what I mean?
Right. That's beautiful. Thank you for describing the process.
You're welcome. And also, hugging the trees gives the same feeling, but it feels like more intimate hugging a tree than just exchanging energies. You know what I mean?
Right, like sitting back and leaning. They are different energies. It's like I can imagine with the back against it, you feel more supported. Whereas if you're hugging, it's a bit more active, and that exchange is happening at the heart.
I honestly, my own experience, like sitting with the back towards the tree activates more like the physical chakras, but hugging the tree gives you like more security. It's more intimate, more healing, I would say, than just balancing you or grounding you.
That's awesome. I love it. What have you noticed lately still triggers you? Because this is a podcast about healing, and our triggers are vessels into understanding what's kind of next on our journey. So if you're willing to share that and get vulnerable with us.
Honestly, it keeps changing over the time. Sometimes in the past it would be like how skinny or fat I was, but now it's more about how my stomach feels with me stress eating. And what causes my stress eating is either my emotional maldigestion, or me suppressing, or me expressing my thoughts to someone but holding myself back. Because I do that a lot as a Capricorn. And maybe me just stressed about something that totally does not need me to be stressed on. It's just maybe me as well being overly tired and not like not had enough rest or sleep. Yeah, it can be many things, you know.
Yeah.
So taking yesterday's example, since I already mentioned that, like I had the entire like ability not to open like the pack of snacks or crackers, and I kept like with this thought like pushing and pulling several times for like 3-5 minutes.
Mhm.
And then I was like, okay, you know what? Just because I'm trying like to stop myself, let's go with the flow. Just don't stop yourself. Just eat your emotions. It's okay. And like today before the podcast, I was quite about also to eat my emotions because I was stressed because of the podcast. And then I was thinking, fine, like Tristan is just a friend and we're just talking as if we're talking as friends. Nobody is actually going to see the podcast, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or maybe someone is going to see it and they don't know me. So who cares? Why the stress?
Or they're going to see
So
it and
like
identify with you, and you're going to help them, right? It's like that's the goal, is to let people know they're not
Exactly.
alone. They're not alone in what they're struggling with, right? And that someone as amazing as
Exactly.
you who teaches yoga, right? Even you can succumb to this human thing because you're human.
Yeah. Surprise.
Yeah,
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo. Hello. Exactly. Is there a wellness tip or recommendation that you find yourself giving to people over and over again? Like, you sound like a broken record, you know what I mean? But like something that comes up a lot.
Yeah, at the end of my classes, I always ask them to notice how they are feeling, no matter what emotion, feeling, or inspiration they're experiencing. And I always say it in the same like tone. Notice how you're feeling deep down, far in the same exact way, maybe with a more monochromatic tone. Like you have to dive deep inside and go really far. It's actually like inspired from the Buddhist sutra Gate.
Gate.
Yeah, you have to go beyond the river. With the river here to mean beyond consciousness, beyond awareness.
Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
So it's the same, but like with more English words, I would say.
English. We like to complicate things. Do you have wellness books that you've read that you feel should be required reading for people in school or on their spiritual path?
Not really, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say, like, always Google is your best friend, you know?
Right.
And with AI now, like, people should utilize that to, like, dig deeper. It's easier now, I guess, than the days when we started, you know?
Yeah. I have a lot of friends in the wellness space who are using AI for even the esoteric. It's really interesting because it gets it. Like, I've used it a few times and I'm like, yeah, no, that's pretty spot on. For me with AI right now, I'm always just like, double check it. Just check the work because it can lie. It pulls things out of nowhere. But from what I've found, where it does provide an answer, I've been quite satisfied with what it came back with and was like, oh, I didn't think of it like that. Like, it gives a really good spiritual answer for complex topics, usually.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm sometimes skeptical about it because I'm sometimes skeptical about the direction, the agenda behind it. As you said, double checking hurts no one.
So I wanted to ask, what role has community played in your healing journey?
I guess it's a big part of it because you always need to like have like, at least at the beginning, you need to have like this safe zone where you can go to, express yourself, share your thoughts. The more like-minded they are, the easier it gets, honestly. Because on the healing path, you usually start to like lose people on the way. Mm-hmm. And the deeper everything gets, the less, I would say, less crowd you're going to have around you because you start to change. Your thought starts to change, your aspects, your energy, your vibrations, everything keeps shifting in a way that might be bombarding with others. So you have to like let go of them for you also to like evolve. And in the process of letting go of them, it's not that easy because it might be your school friends, it might be your childhood friends, it might be people from the family or like neighbors, I don't know. So it's always like very harsh to whom you would refer to in the times where you're like having like a nervous breakdown or having such a very strong realization, because the path is not all lovey-dovey and like matcha and good movement. It's so much more than that. It's the days you cry over your pillow, the days you lock yourself and don't want to talk to anyone. It's also the days that you're trying to avoid anyone noticing that something is actually going on internally with you. And it's the days that you want also to express your emotions. And all that cannot happen with the same community that you like grew up in, because technically you're trying to recreate this pattern or to redesign the pattern after definitely destroying it and rebuilding it. So the pieces you're going to leave is the pieces or the rest of the community that you actually care about, and they actually can still resonate maybe in different speed because everyone is doing the inner work differently, but they should be like aware at least that they're doing part of it. Because I believe like even if we're on a different vibrational level, our intentions also speaks, you know what I mean?
I do.
So I feel like all this together is like a very like important combination, because you need like the time when you need the listeners, another day you need the supporters, another day you need like the cheerleaders that do nothing but like clap for you where you are on the path or how bad it is getting. And on other days you also need the people that are like harsh with you, like to know this is not done this way, it has to be this way, you know?
Yeah.
And mostly these are the people who actually walked your path before, but they are like in an advanced place more than you are on it. And sometimes you'll listen to them, sometimes you will not listen to them it all depends on your ego. And it also all depends on how they were good like persuading you in a sense. I would say like community helped a lot, honestly.
I think it's so important to address that when you do level up and your vibration changes, the vibe attracts the tribe. And so you have to be aware and conscious that if you are trying to level up and if you want to vibrate higher at a higher frequency, closer to love and unity and God or source, that does mean you have to let go of people who aren't willing to vibrate high like that. And that's okay. And that's, it might be painful, and it might mean saying goodbye to someone you've known your whole life. It might mean, for some people, unfortunately, separating from family, which, it's like, I don't want to encourage that. I think that, family is family, but at the same time, if someone's holding you back, if someone's being that crab in the analogy, have you heard this analogy of the crabs?
Yeah.
Where the crab tries to climb out of the bucket, right? And the other crab grabs its leg and is like, nope, not so fast, and pulls him out. It's like, nope, you're staying down here with us. If that's your family and they're trying to keep you low in the bucket and you're trying to climb high, you might need to put a boundary.
Set boundaries.
Yeah, put a boundary.
Yeah, exactly.
Put a boundary and separate. Doesn't mean goodbye, but it means, I'm not going to accept being spoken to in a manner that doesn't vibrate with me anymore.
Resonate with me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The next question is, what gives you hope about the future?
Evolving, growing, my bucket list.
Well, what I really love about that particularly is that bucket list implies goals, and goals are so important. And it doesn't matter what the goal is, right? Like your bucket list item can be to see dinosaur bones in person. Great. If you've never done that and that's what you want to do, it's fine. Your goal doesn't have to be world peace and ending hunger. It's like, right?
We're not doing pageant girls at the moment. Like aiming for world peace.
Oh, yes. Okay.
We're not Sandra Bullock, sorry.
Yeah, this isn't Miss Congeniality. We're not in the beauty contest. Yeah. I wanted to ask, so have you helped someone recently, a friend or a family member? Tell me about an example specifically of how you've helped someone recently with a problem they were having.
I have a friend of mine who she was like almost getting a divorce. And I shared my meditation practice and she started practicing it. I'm also a facilitator of that practice, so I guided her through the practice, and now I won't say she's happily married, but she's still married with a different mindset that she is doing what feels good within her heart, even if her mind sometimes plays some tricks still. But at least she's now like more, I won't say convinced, because I'm not trying to convince her, because I don't live her life. But I would say she's more like aware of the issues, and she's also more aware of what she wants in life, in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's beautiful. I feel personally around the commitment of marriage is that it is a commitment. and there are good times and bad, right? So it's like, obviously
Yeah.
if there's abuse, that's one thing that's not acceptable ever, never, 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 never.
Mhm.
But there is something to be said about maybe a weak moment, or just because it's not the marriage that you dreamed of or that Disney told us it should be, right? The prince and the princess and all that. It's like, let's be more realistic, and also let's have the ability to self-soothe, to understand, okay,
Uh-huh.
I didn't have my expectations met, but is it because my expectations were too high, rather than is this person not a good person, right? It's like those are very, very different ends of the spectrum, and usually the answer is somewhere more in the middle than we think.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Exactly.
Cool.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Talk to us about how you've healed something in yourself recently.
Ah, okay. Interesting. So 2 years ago, I moved actually to Cairo. So I left my hometown, I left my family, left my friends, left everything, went to live in Cairo. And I had like a major issue. Uh, I don't have the courage yet to like name it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, I felt like I cannot control it anymore, and I need like therapy or like a specialized person. And I reached out for help, and after 6 months, I was less, how to say, referring to the things that I used to like do, think, or create. Uh, and yeah, it feels so much better. Like I'm more aware on that aspect. It was one of the like the I would say like the transformational thoughts, where I actually like needed someone to like. I guess it's one of my very few times that I ask help from someone on a very like deep level. Because by nature, like I rarely ask for help, honestly.
Wow. That's absolutely incredible that you had that courage to, like, number one, it's the first step. It's admitting to ourselves,
Yeah.
okay, something is not right. I am not thriving, or whatever it is. And then two, for being able to go, I have so many tools at my disposal, but I can't crack this, so I'm going to reach out to someone else, right? Those two things are so important. And I think
Yeah.
it just speaks to like the fact that we as yogis, right, we might have a lot of tools, we might have the knowledge in our brains, but that doesn't always translate to being able to solve every problem, because
Exactly.
we're evolving, we're living, and we're figuring it out as we go. So
In Egypt, we have a proverb that says, like, it translates into even the carpenter's door is not working.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
So, yeah. And also, like, it's like the ABC strategy, like you build awareness, then you're trying to balance it, and then you reach to a conclusion.
So what does the next year look like in terms of your personal wellness goals?
Okay, interesting. Haven't thought of it, honestly. And I would say I have to like travel somewhere in Asia or South America to like like a yoga retreat center, or like just a solo travel on my own. Haven't done that in a very long time,
Mm-hmm.
like to just solo travel abroad. So I guess like that's one of my main goals. I also want to focus more on my Reiki healing, and like maybe like use it more for people who ask for it. Like I want to do more treatment on others as well,
Mm-hmm.
and perhaps like digging in deeper, maybe getting the second attunement or so, if I feel like ready enough,
Right.
and if it's the right time, of course.
Right. Oh, that sounds lovely. That's amazing. How do you want people to engage with you? Do you have like social media, or how can people get in touch if they want to work with you?
Yeah, just my Instagram account is public for that, and I check my messages usually daily, or like every other day maximum. And yeah, the people just can hit me up anytime.
Okay. What's your Instagram?
YASSINESOBH.
SOBH. Awesome. Okay. And what is the last message that you want to leave with our listeners, our Omis?
Ooh. Okay. So, no matter what people say, no matter how they think, look, or react to you, just make sure you're on the right path. It feels good within your body. Listen to yourself. And remember to go deep, deep down, far, far in.
Ooh. Yassine, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tristan.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Until next time, this has been the How We Are Healing podcast. So remember to keep healing yourself so you can help heal others. That is why we're here. Adios.
Woohoo!
Ow, ow, ow! Hello, I'm Tristan. I was just like you. I wanted to become a yoga teacher. I noticed all the positive changes it brought to my life. I didn't want to have to travel, though, to do a yoga teacher training and all that goes along with that, right? Being put in a room with a bunch of strangers. What if I had to use the bathroom and I have to miss the part of the lecture and dealing with that awkwardness? I also didn't want to have to spend a fortune. And let's be real, yoga teacher trainings can be very expensive. Lastly, I wanted to be able to start teaching yoga right away because if I'm honest, I felt ready before I was even certified. It's just what happens when you find something that really speaks to your soul and when you have that focus and when you have that discipline. For me, the program I wanted didn't exist, but now it does. I created it. I created the yoga teacher training that I dreamed of. It's a course that's affordable at just $99 a month. You can even finish everything within the first 30 days if you're super dedicated. But there's no pressure. Go at your own pace, it's there. Because of this, also, you can start earning money right away. I give you the tools you need so that you can start earning. That means the course immediately starts paying for itself. Just in case that's not enough, there is also a 30-day money-back guarantee. I wanted to make it so that you have nothing to lose, an entire lifetime of yoga knowledge to gain. So what are you waiting for? Get started today. Go to shantiyogaschool.com to access the course now. That's SHANTI yogaschool.com. Hey, it's Tristan again. Thanks for tuning in to How We Are Healing. I hope you found it meaningful. If you'd like to support the podcast, consider leaving a review or sending this episode to friends and family. Until next time, Omis, keep shining.